Yeah, hey, welcome to DZPD Weekly Division 2 video, build video sometimes, whatever, video. I am Gamertag Burt Reynolds. I'm going to do this right this week, Negan. I'm Gamertag Burt Reynolds. And
Yes, that's a good start.
that guy, that guy over there in the red and blue windbreaker-ish thing? I don't
My
know.
my little running jacket.
The guy
Cause I'm
with
gonna go running.
the fashion challenge gentleman who's dancing is the one and only Negan Killjoy, the Golden Voice of Gaming.
Fashion
And
challenge. I like it.
yeah, a little fashion challenge there, mixing your reds and blues with your camouflage and hey, but your socks
Well, that's
match,
true. My
so
socks
good for
match. My
you.
my, my shoes kind of match, but they don't really give me a running color scheme for my camo gear.
Yeah, no, they
So
don't.
I have to
They don't.
do what they have to. Well, hang on. Let me see what I can.
You get
Anyway,
you
what?
got a camo backpack on though. That's nice. That's nice, man. I like it.
Thanks. Somehow I don't
So
think you mean that. Okay.
I don't know. um, we're gonna do that again this week. I'm
Yes.
gonna
Yes.
state everything
Absolutely.
as a question.
That's a question. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about a build.
A build?
A
Yeah. I
build.
am gonna talk
Yes.
about a build. And I have a sniper rifle on my back, which is weird for me because
Nice.
I don't ever use sniper rifles.
You do
Yeah, and
not.
the title of our stream tonight is actually The Dead Man's Hand, a reference to Wild Bill Hickok and the way he died, allegedly,
Mm-hmm.
holding
Right.
a hand of cards, full house aces over eights. So, the build we're going to talk about tonight is an aces and eights build. Yeah, yeah. But before
Which
we
is
jump into
which is
that, we
the
should, yeah,
first the
go ahead.
first gear set build you've done as well, right? We haven't done gear sets
Yeah,
before.
I've never detailed the gear set. In general, I don't particularly. I'll be honest, I haven't found the gear sets all that great in this game thus far. That said, I never used an ace and eights build, so and again, I had pieces in my stash. I was able to craft some others. Um, so same as last week. If you ask me why were they in your stash and why'd you pull them out, so I have something to talk about. Hey, look
There
at
you go.
the mess on my gun there. That there's some invisible aspects to the magazine on my gun. It's got a nice little stripe right through it that's invisible. That's pretty cool looking. I bet that shoots good with
Yeah. With no
giant
magazine?
invisible spot through the magazine.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, sure. Right, yeah, definitely. That gun is a merciless. This gun is an SVD. Before going to that, though, we have to do a check. What are you drinking tonight, Negan? What's your beverage of choice this evening?
Tonight is a San I'm gonna blow this off. It's a Saint Bernardus wit beer. And
Mm.
it's got a whole bunch of mythology behind it. That apparently the monks for the longest time only sold their beers like at the doors of their monastery and taverns and whatever attached to their monastery. So they have a really famous one,
Mm-hmm.
I believe, called the Saint Bernardus like 12 or 24. I'm asking that a question, but there is one out there that's relatively rare to get. But tonight I'm drinking their wit, which is clearly not rare to get because it's you see it everywhere. It's a lot of places. So that's why it's really good. And they have the other ones I like. A lot of their dark Belgians and the triples and their duples and stuff like that are pretty good. So yeah, that's what I'm drinking
Yeah,
tonight.
those would
What
be
do you got going?
Trappist monks. Trappist
There you
monks,
go.
yeah.
There you go. Trappist
Yep.
monks, Trappist style of beer. Whole big story. Like I said, there's a couple of them. And by where I work, there's a place called the Trappist, which has some of the Bernardus relatively rare stuff that you can get. So they have it, obviously, since they're called the Trappist, they focus on Trappist styles. So very good. Good
That's
place.
very cool.
And what are
So,
you
I
doing
mean,
tonight?
as you know, oh, I've got a can of
I say LaCroix
La
again, aren't you?
Croix. La Croix. This is pamplemousse. Pamplemousse, which apparently means pink grapefruit. There you go.
Ample moose?
Interesting,
Ample?
right?
Like large amounts
Pample.
of moose?
Pample.
Pample. Okay.
Ample.
Pample.
Pamplemousse. My
Much better.
my 8-year-old daughter. A couple weeks ago, I was going to the grocery store, and I said, "Hey, who needs what from the grocery store?" And she goes, "Can you get some pamplemousse?" And I was like, "What?" I had no idea what she's talking about.
Kids these days and the words that they use. What the hell?
Well, and I didn't know if she was making something up, and then I'm thinking like a hair care product, or I don't know.
It does sound like a
But
care
no,
product,
no,
absolutely.
it's the pink grapefruit flavor of La Croix. I
Oh,
also have
nice.
a Dragon's Milk White,
Oh, nice. It's a
which
milk stout, or what is that?
it is a white stout, bourbon
Nice.
barrel aged white stout. Um, but on the Trappist front, not to go too far off tangent, but I'm a pretty devout Christ-following Christian. One of my heroes of the Reformation is Martin Luther, who
Right.
was a Trappist monk previous to leaving the Catholic Church and starting the Reformation, and he was a very avid beer brewer his entire life, and pretty famous for his very good beers. So yeah,
Did
there's that, and
and
his wife. His wife had been a nun, and she was also a very good beer brewer.
oh, nice.
So,
And the story that I've heard, or the theology or whatever behind beers, is the reason monks brewed it is so they could fast during fasting periods, and they could drink very thick beers and mead and stuff like that while they were fasting. Is that relatively accurate? Since you know a little bit about that.
for nutrient purposes, yeah, absolutely. The other thing, obviously that they were providing oftentimes was a service, because even by then they were starting to realize that possibly an issue with the water supply had to do with why people got sick. But people never
Hmm.
got sick drinking beer because you have to boil it.
There you go. And if you did
And
get sick
so
off
it
beer,
was
who's gonna care? That's St. Patrick's Day all over the place. I
that's
shouldn't
a
have said
different kind of
that.
thing.
That's a different kind of thing.
But
Yeah, we're gonna move on
yeah.
past that one real fast.
Well, and
Jeez.
obviously the monks were never ever drinking to get drunk, and obviously beers today are much stronger than they once were. We brew them a lot stronger, yeasts are stronger, whatnot. But it was a healthier choice than the water. You figure
Right.
a lot of contaminated water. So yeah, but yeah, that was part of the reason. It was nutrients for when they were fasting, and they used it for celebrating. It's
Sure.
it's definitely a biblical thing to have some alcohol to celebrate, right? So yeah. Anyway, that's a lot, like a very far tangent from our build, but
Yeah. So from Wild Bill Hickok
fun.
to Trappist beers to the Reformation. I like it. I like it. So circle back to Wild Bill Hickok's hand of choice. Well, probably not his
Yeah,
hand
the
of
dead
choice.
man's hand. Eights and eights. So yeah, I'll pop this build up. I mean, so this one's not like perfect, and I'm gonna call out where I would make changes to it. One, and I was just telling you this earlier today, is I did not have a lot of rifle and marksman rifle mods because I never run marksman rifle. I've gotten a couple over this week, but a lot of the mods I still have in here are basically rifle mods. And some of them are rifle slash assault rifle. I got 2 rifle marksman rifle mods, so I've put those in now. So I'm probably not getting all the damage I could out of the SVD. I'm just gonna say that. Much like a lot of the builds I'm running today, I decided to go with a merciless and spark for that extra 15% damage, because I love that. And so that's that.
Has has Spark become your new favorite talent? It seems like you talk about that a lot and bringing a lot of your builds and stuff like that.
So I think the thing I really like about Spark, right, is me. I'm all about not having to make trades when I'm making
Right,
builds. I
right.
don't want. I hate when I have to make a trade. Um, so uh, previous to TU6, when Spark didn't exist, backpack talent wise, you had on the ropes, which really meant you kind of had to have. I mean, you had to have 7 yellows, right? So like you're going to be running a skill build, And so that was intended really to give you damage when you didn't have another way to get damage, right? So you throw some compensated gloves on, you get on the ropes, you're going to get a pretty healthy damage buff for a build that has very few reds, like 3, because compensated you have to have 3 or less reds. So you're not going to have a lot of opportunities to slot mods and have damage. Spark gives you that exact same damage number, 15%, or in this case, because I have perfect spark, this is a strategic alignment with perfect spark. I'm getting 20% weapon damage for 15 for triggering. That's strong, especially on a build that has 13 reds. You know what I mean? Like, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a
lot
of
of
extra
damage.
damage on top of a lot of damage that was already there. And so it's exceptionally strong. So that's part of what I'm doing here. And I'll be honest, what inspired me to build this build is Saggy Meatwad that we have had on the show and run with. He was running an Ace and Eights build, and I was like, well, run that. And I know he built his a little squishy for like maximum damage outputs. Then I was really like, well, can I make one that's got a lot of damage output, but also not squishy? And that was my objective. And so one of the ways to get that extra damage was to have Spark and the Merciless. The thing that I would do differently about this build, I'm going to call it right off the get-go, the chess piece is really a waste. The reason I don't have the Aces and 8 chess piece, it only drops from the raid. I've run the raid many times. I've never gotten it, meaning if you don't get the chess piece, you don't get the blueprint. And so I don't have it. And so I can't use that. But I would rather have an Aces chess piece that has Unstoppable Force and be able to put a mask on that has concussion. So it would be much better for me to have a Overlord, which I do. I have an Overlord mask in my stash that has concussion on it. That would be my ideal. It would be to have an Aces chest with Unstoppable Force and then a mask with concussion. Because you're going to be hitting headshots. You might as well get that extra damage buff out of headshot. That would be the one thing I would change. I'm calling it out now. That's where I'm unhappy with it. And
But that's the
unfortunately,
whole
unless we go
RNG that we've talked about before. That not only is it behind the raid, which is fine. Let them put stuff behind the raid and stuff like that, and then you have to also get it to drop for you while you're in the raid. So still a little bit of RNG wall right there, or whatever they want to call that.
Yeah, and unless we get a group together to go raiding anytime soon, I'm stuck with this. So I made the best of what I got. So what does Aces and Eights do, right? So it's got a 3-piece bonus and a 4-piece bonus. 3-piece bonus is called the Dead Man's Hand. You flip cards, and when the cards flip over, different hands of cards give you different things, right? So Full House increases magazine size by 100% for 10 seconds. 4 of a Kind grants 30% bonus armor, and the Aces and Eights, Full House, grants the next 5 bullets 100% bonus damage. It's kind of cool. Actually, kind of fun. It's like a little mini game that you kind of play while you're playing the game, which is kind of fun. And then if you have the 4-piece bonus, which I have here, then the effects of the Dead Man's Hand go to your whole party. So what this really makes this build is a support build with a lot of damage.
Yeah.
But it's a support build. Yep.
That makes sense. And that's if you go the 4-piece. So some people run the 3-piece just so they get the benefits, but the 4-piece is what makes it the support build.
Yep, absolutely. And then what I did here is I rolled actually the health on this piece because 41%. I had 41% natural DTE. I could have put a 50, 55 on there, but I felt like the health was more important because my intent is to go raiding with this. And if you've done the raid, you need 100,000 health. No spoilers, but there's spots in the raid where you need 100,000 health. So that's what I went with that. Went with the health on that. And on the back with the strategic alignment, Reason being explosive damage for the Merciless and that perfect spark. Again, here, this backpack could have a much better weapon roll, right? I could have rolled it to 10%, but I wanted to not be squishy. If you remember conversation that we were having a minute ago, I said, Saggy's build, he felt he was a little squishy, and I was like, well, I think I could build one that has a lot of armor, and so I rolled the armor on it. And again, honestly, I'm missing out on 5% damage here, but I'm picking all of that up from so many other sources in this build that I figured, what the heck. And here I have hard hitting. This backpack, the only problem with it is it has a utility mod slot, which is complete waste in this build because I don't have enough skill power to unlock anything, and total waste. Throw away.
Can they roll with any other mods, or is it always utility?
No, that's always got a utility mod.
Okay. So I was going to have that little throwaway doing that backpack.
Yeah. So here on my chest piece, I got rifle damage because I've got an Overlord chest. It's got armor and percent armor, and I have 15% weapon damage rolled on it. Again, rifle damage mod in there. And Unstoppable Force, which at 300,000 armor, I'm getting 15% additional damage after a kill. Again, some extra damage there. But again, on the chest piece, you can play anything you want. I also roll the chest and have it. I think I might have put it in the stash, but I have a I put it in the stash. Put it back in the stash. But I had a pristine example that I can also run. So if I decide I'm going to play back, I can run Perfect Vigilance for the 30% weapon damage from Perfect Vigilance. But I get damaged too much. I can't bring myself to play that far back. So. Better uptime with the Unstoppable Force. My gloves, Aces and 8 gloves, rifle damage and marksman rifle damage. Nothing special here. On the holster, again, nothing special. Aces and 8 holster. I did roll health on this as well, in order to have, a lot of health. A couple more mods in there. And then finally on the knee pads, Aces and 8s knees, I rolled armor percent on it. Again, try not to be squishy. So what do I end up with? I end up with 307,000 armor, right? So I think it's pretty good for a sniper rifle build.
Not bad, considering the way you play snipers,
squishy.
or the way you're supposed to play snipers anyway.
So I think what would be good would be to show it to you. Not going to go do that control point yet, only because I don't really want to do it with this build. But we should go do one of the things that, whatever they are, I don't know, open world things that we do. Let's go to a broadcast.
All right.
And I'll show you. So I'll show you how it works.
I'm going to put you on the spot with what you just said, that you don't want to do a checkpoint with this build. It's a raid build, so what's the difference between why I don't want to say you're avoiding the checkpoint with this build, but what made you hesitate or decide not to run it right? Is it just right now? You have other things, or?
No, it is very much a support build. And so the more people you have in your group, the more benefit it is. I mean, we can go try. I don't know. We can go give it a try. I have not taken on, usually my mark is I've taken on for a checkpoint myself and cleared it solo. I haven't even tried with this build, Negan, so I have no idea.
Gotcha. Okay.
But if you want to get I'm good with that.
I'm in control. I was just, like I said, I was just curious the way you said it.
Just don't complain if it goes poorly. But
I don't complain if it goes poorly. So how are you going to play it? So it's a sniper build, but you said you're not playing, quote, that far back either. So are you playing more up front, more in your face, or how are you playing this? And since it is a support build, why would you play it closer than not?
So it's not that I want to play up close. I just don't want to be so far back that I never take damage. I don't think that's reasonable. I don't feel like that's reasonable. And I need to get my Merciless to trigger up the spark, spark, whatever. I can never remember those. But yeah, I don't, trying to flip some cards here for you, Negan.
That's right. Support. And that's
Four of
actually
a
the nice thing. You
kind,
run the.
bonus
Yep.
armor.
Here we go. Yep, I see it. It's going blue on me. Yeah, and that's the nice thing running this in a group the other night is one because you're flipping the cards and stuff like that. You get the four of the kind. But it was a surprise, pleasantly, as I might add, that all of a sudden I had like twice as much ammo sitting in my magazine. And until you told me you were running it, I was like, where did I find 80 rounds for my little assault rifle?
Right? Yeah. It is fun. It's very fun. I'm not gonna pretend it's not. It's super fun.
And the flipping the cards is that random or is that in sequence? So you get the full house, then four of a kind, then aces and eights, or is it just randomly which one pops up?
So I don't know exactly. I mean, you're only flipping them when you're hitting. Well, you flip two cards when you hit headshots. I think you flip one card when you hit body shots. I've not. If there is a pattern to it, I've not figured it out yet.
Okay. So
So
it does seem random more than anything else.
seems random to me. I bit pretty hard.
Still a little unnerving to see you play so up close with an SVD like that.
Well, I don't have a Yeah, see, I suck with that thing. I don't have a scope that scopes in.
Oh, okay.
I'm running a C79 scope on it. So
That brings
it's
damage to elites, or what does that bring to the table other than not having to scope in?
that's a good question. Let me see what it brings to the table. C79 is damage to elites. I have a 5-round mag, sniper rifle mag. I'm running accuracy and damage to elites. Yeah, I should have talked about talents of the gun, the SVD. So I do have lucky shot, which magazine capacity is increased by 20%. Missed shots from cover have a 100% chance to return to the magazine. And I'm running Allegro on that. So that is the meta gun for this build. If you go online, you look up 8s and 8s builds, you're gonna see nothing but basically that's the meta, right? Like nobody's running anything else first. Suppose you
Right.
could theoretically run the Scar SSR or whatever that thing is, the Scar 17 sniper rifle variant. You probably could run that, but I don't know. Like it's similar to the SVD, it's just not as good. So I think you'd be, I think you'd be missing out if you did that.
Yeah, a lot of people are doing that. A lot of people are also putting accuracy and stability mods on their SVD so they can basically just, spam shots and stuff like that as well.
Yep. Yep. See, and that's why I wasn't feeling ready for this. Is like I
But
haven't I
you
haven't
got
played
your
it
little
enough.
healing going. It's all right.
I
You
have
got
no
this.
skill power, so
See, this time, the reason I went here is this week is because it gives me a chance to do something as opposed to all your other builds where I just watch the fun and not do anything. So this time I have to do stuff. See, that's actually the ulterior motive that I had. And so because we're two-manning it, are you playing differently than you would in a group? Are you playing back where you would, or are you playing closer than you normally would because it's in a two-man group?
Well, I'm playing back at the moment because that turret is just tearing me up, when
The
I'm out in the
minigun.
open. So yeah, I'm playing a little bit back. And I got to get used to using a sniper rifle. I'll be honest, I've not really used one at all in this game because they're so underwhelming in general.
Yes, they are. They can be. Fall back so they start coming back towards you.
And it makes it
Good
kind of
shots.
odd that I would play up, and I think it's confusing, right? Why would I play up? Well, I play up because um especially and you know this, we're pretty far apart in the country from each other.
Mm-hmm.
Um I'm in the Midwest, you're on the West Coast. Sometimes when we play together there's a bit of lag, um which of course is really difficult when you've got um like precision moves you have to make. It happens to me sometimes with skills, like precision skills too. I go to throw Pokeballs and it just they don't hit where I think they're gonna hit. The game can be a little laggy when trying to resolve servers that I think the biggest problem is it doesn't put us on the server that would be best for either one of us. It puts us on a server that's not great for either of us.
Right, right. Kind of
It's
averages
my
out for
impression,
us.
right?
Is what it's trying to do.
Like it ends up we're on a server in Omaha, Nebraska, which is great for Saggy, but not
Right.
great for either one of us.
That's right. That's right. Oh, I thought that was you behind me. Whoa.
I know I was getting a little confused up there too. Hence the move back.
At least now I know where you're at. All right. Fall back as well. I'll give you some more.
So obviously when there's only two of us, right? I think the big problem is the aces build, you ideally want to be able to focus on your headshots and concentrate on what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the less people that are in here, the more the enemies focus just on, you're not spreading the attention's not getting spread out real well, right? And
Right.
so I think that's where the aces build, can be stronger is in a group of four, you're going to spread that attention out a lot. And so that aces person can, I know when Saggy's running it, like he's far enough back, nobody's paying any attention to him,
Yes.
right?
Yes, that's true. All right. Well, since we're doing this the right way, I'm gonna go ahead and jump on the minigun. Although you are doing some work though.
Oh, the Merciless, that thing puts in work. But that doesn't give us any kind of buff.
Right. And
Get
you
out of
talked about the
there.
merciless last week with the mercy me, or the last episode you talked about merciless. So this is the second build you're using the merciless, which is again, do you find yourself using the merciless more or less lately, or have you just kind of started dialing in on it and
Oh,
figured it
it's
out?
I use it all the time because if you're like, it is your easiest way um, to trigger
The struck.
spark. I mean, other than that, you got to throw grenades, which, if I'm honest, when you're throwing grenades, you're not shooting guns.
Nope, you're not. They do have that correct where you can't do both at the same time. Hey, bonus armor. Look at that. Boop. Which I actually needed right there. Thank you.
I mean, so the one nice thing about this, right, and when you go back and watch the stream of how I'm playing this build, I look ridiculous, man. I'm just calling it out. Like, in order to effectively use this right now, I am literally face tanking people with an SVD
Mm-hmm.
from like next to them, which is nuts, right? I mean, it looks insane. I'm walking up to enemies with an SVD and pounding them in the face with it.
But again, face tanking, and you have your little revive hive on there, so that makes a little more sense. Since you kind of, I'm out of ammo. No, I'm not. Picked up two. Go. Look at that.
Now I just face tanked him with the 50 cal. That was pretty awesome.
Nice. Yes.
That's not how you're supposed to play that either. Turns out that's just not how you're supposed to play that. But yeah, so
generally
there's how
point
I
blank
play a
range
sniper build.
Isn't the TAC 50 at all? No. Jeez.
No. So that's
so
how
that didn't.
Burt Reynolds plays a sniper build right there. Is basically what it is, Negan. I just
There.
run up with
You
a
just
sniper rifle and stick it in your face and shoot you.
There you go.
And that's
Which
how I
is
solve for that.
which is a little bit ironic because the last few builds we talked about, you've been playing back a little bit, and they haven't been sniper builds. Well, Merciless was a little more rifle sniper build, and you did play a little bit back. So it is, the irony is not lost that you face tanked today. So, all right, so cool. So let's recap what you did.
Yep. Let's
do that real fast.
Build. So again, yeah, sharpshooter specialization. You have to use that. It's required for aces. It requires the specialization. I'm running the Merciless to trigger the spark on my backpack. I'm running SVD with Lucky Shot and Allegro. I am running a pistol with protected reload because again, nice to get some free armor when I'm reloading. I got DT and health on my mask. Again, going for that 100,000 health and 300,000 armor that I'm looking for. Hard hitting and spark on the backpack. Since I'm running a Merciless, I have an Overlord chest piece with Unstoppable Force, armor, percent armor, and weapon damage. On my gloves, I have Marksman rifle damage and rifle damage as the two types of damage on there. And then I have, obviously mods in that are rifle and Marksman rifle. I have health and crit chance on my holster. And on my knees, I have percent armor rolled on them. And so all of that adds up to 13.8. The one is just because the backpack I have has a yellow mod slot and always does, but it also has perfect spark, which I definitely want because that's 20% weapon damage instead of 15. So that's the build. Negan. That's the build. I'm running a revive, hive, and a heal with no skill power, so they do basically nothing.
they pick you up when you fall down at least once. That's what they're there for.
Once, and then they're on cooldown for the next 25 minutes. But yeah. Yes. And my heals heal me for approximately 1 bullet's worth of damage, and then they run out.
Which is all that ever happens. Only 1 bullet ever comes in your direction in this game. So it's perfectly acceptable.
Correct. Yeah, especially when you're using a sniper build to face tank people, because that never goes wrong. Ever. Ever.
Never. Absolutely not.
Right. So yeah, but that's it. I'm not, again, I'm really, really, really not used to this build yet. So we keep playing it. And it's fun. I will tell you that it's fun to watch those cards flip. That is it's a pretty cool mechanic. I like it. We might stream next Wednesday. I don't know. If we can, maybe we'll stream next Wednesday and play Can I Get an Upgrade? We haven't done that in a while. Maybe we should.
That's true. That'd be a fun little break before Turkey Day. Yeah.
Because I guarantee I can't get an upgrade. But we should see. You should see. You can get an upgrade.
Absolutely.
And I'll see if I can get an upgrade.
Say with targeted loot, we know where to look for stuff. So that's kind of nice. We'd have to play it whatever the targeted loot is. So there's that.
Targeted loot definitely does not guarantee an upgrade.
Does not.
Sadly enough.
You can at least have a general idea what you're shooting for. And no, that's not what I was talking about.
You would definitely think that targeted loot would equal an upgrade, but as we've seen, not necessarily. But yeah, that would be fun. And so we'll figure out a time to stream next week. It just won't be Thursday. And yeah, in case we don't see you before then, happy Thanksgiving. And
Absolutely.
I think Negan's going to do our sign off per the usual.
Yes, I am. I wouldn't all everybody. See ya.